Hey everybody, thanks for watching another Tales and Fans video. And today I'm going to give you a quick rundown of what I like to take into the turkey woods while I'm hunting, and I highly suggest you do the same. You can kind of switch up your own setup, but generally what I take in the woods is something that a lot of people do as well. It's not just my idea. But first and foremost, and probably one of your most important things, is your camouflage. I always am camo from head to toe, including hat, face mask, gloves, shirt, boots, pants, everything's camouflage. The only thing that's not always camouflage is my shotgun, but I do even have a sleeve that I'll put over that from time to time. Like I said, it doesn't really matter necessarily the type of pattern you have, just as long as it blends in with whatever you're hunting around, whether it be field, trees, whatnot. Another thing that I like to do is the boots that I wear. Kind of important in my opinion. The springtime is usually kind of wet, depending on where you live in the States. But I like mine to where they're a little bit insulated, because sometimes it does get chilly early spring season, but they're also waterproof. I like mine high because a lot of times when it's during the spring, like I said, it's real wet. Might be wading some creeks or whatever to get to that goblin tom. So, you know, some type of boot that's waterproof and probably even a little bit insulated is good. Not too heavily, because it can get warm, especially later season. Another thing that I cannot do without in the turkey woods is my vest. Now, there's a lot of different kinds of vests. This one here I've had since probably about 2007. It's a little bit worn out, but it's my favorite, and I use it every year. It's got a good turkey vest will have pockets for your slate calls. This one has two of them. Pockets for just miscellaneous calls, like your locator calls, your coyote calls, owl calls, things like that. This one also has on both front left and right pockets shotgun shell holders. It's imperative that you always take more than what your gun can hold, just in case you need to take a few more pop shots, or that predator runs out, and that's always a good thing. But anyways, the more pockets the better. This one even has a pocket flap where you can put a couple strikers for your slate calls in, and it even has a box call holder on the left side. And probably the next most important thing is it has little pockets where you put your diaphragm calls in. This one has two. One thing I do like about this, and a good turkey vest will have this, and I suggest you have one, is on the back it has this big pocket that goes all the way through. You can put your decoys in there, because lugging around 2 or 3 different decoys can get kind of bulky. So putting them all in one pocket's excellent. But when you do shoot that big tom, you can put them right in here, and that's exactly what it's designed for. Safety factor, since we're always about safety here at Tales and Fans, on the back of this, it has a small orange flap that you can unzip and roll out. So when you're walking out of the woods and you got your turkey head hanging out one side and the fan hanging out the other side, the other hunters don't mistake that. As you're walking away, you can be out in the open like that so they can see you. I suggest having a turkey vest similar to that. Keeps all your calls. I always have a lot of calls with me. Box call, slate call, several mouth calls, all my locator calls. Now, just got done talking a little bit about the decoys. And expand on that a little bit. I always take several. I have different kinds. This one here is a pretty hard rubber one. It expands better when the sunlight hits it. But this is a standing hen. I also have a standing Jake. It has just a little beard hanging off. It doesn't have a tail fan, although sometimes I'll use a tail fan just like the one behind me, put it up behind it to make it a little more look like a tom. But I have several of these. I take usually 3 to 4, put a Jake out, and use a couple hens. I got a feeding hen, a laying down hen, and set them up a little different patterns. Kind of depends on how the turkeys in your area react to decoys and what kind of property you hunt. I know a lot of times on public land they act a little bit more shy because they're hunting a lot more hard. The pressure is harder on them. But I always try to set them apart. Don't set them straight in front of you. If you think turkeys are coming at you from the front, don't set them straight in front of you. Otherwise, the turkey that's coming at you is going to have a line of sight right on you past those decoys. Kind of set them off to your right or left, depending on which way you think the turkeys are coming from. Another thing that I really like to have, and this vest that I just showed you actually has one of these attached to it. But if you get one that doesn't have one attached to it, some type of seat. This one here keeps you about 3-4 inches off the ground, and for those wet, muddy spring days, this is excellent to have. Walking around with wet pants is not fun. So have something this to get you a little bit extra height off the ground, but still keeps you low enough to where you're not sticking out, but it keeps you dry. I do like that. Now, like I said, with the vest, all the pockets, everything, your calls. You know, like I said, I got several, usually 3 or 4 mouth calls of different kinds. Especially depends on what area in the country you live and hunt. Sometimes the hen's a little more raspy, sometimes a little more clear, but I always have 3 or 4 of these. I always have my box call, my slate call, and like I said, all my locator calls. And like I said earlier, you can buy all these from Tradition Outdoors. They have a very wide selection, and it's awesome. That's where I get all my turkey calls, and I use them every spring. So I highly suggest something similar to my setup. It usually works for me every year, and I can't guarantee it, but with that type of setup, you're more likely to have success in the woods this spring. So thanks for watching. Check out our Facebook page, Tails and Fans, and we'll catch you next time.